Hey everyone, welcome back to this video. We are talking about setting up your clients' audiences. Now we've discussed creating audiences in the past. You also have the audience blueprint that was presented to you when you first joined around creating all sorts of different types of audiences, roughly about 50 plus. Now remember, when you're working with your clients in the very beginning, they just want to see that you're making progress, right? What is it that you're going to use as your first batch of audiences and testing? What is it that you're going to deploy that is different from what they're already doing? Sometimes you have beginner type clients where they might have just a simple email list, phone number list, maybe some engagement, and you go from there. Whereas others are going to be, I wouldn't say complicated, but they definitely have a lot more data than the average person. So they may have engagement audiences, video viewer audiences, website traffic, time on site, all sorts of things. But you want to make sure that you have all the audiences you could possibly create in the very beginning so that you could be successful not only at the point of deployment and testing, but also for scale. So in this account, as an example, when we first started working with them, we made sure that all the audiences were up to date. We would upload new custom audiences. We would also make sure that in loading those custom audiences, we would then create at least the lookalikes that we would use to then, create the existing ads that we have live in this account. So you can see we have custom audience lists labeled here. We loaded them, and then of course we created the at least 1% and the 1-2% lookalikes in order to start testing. If you want to take it even further, another example of an account where we've created a multitude of different audiences is this client, and this is taking it to a point of scale. So as you can see, we have all sorts of lookalikes, but we made sure to build the video viewer audiences from 25%, 3 seconds, 15 seconds, all the way to 95%. We also created visitors by time spent on site. And then you can see we did it by top 5%, 30, 60, 90, 180 days. Top 10%, same thing. Top 25%. We did the engagement audiences for Facebook all the way from 30 days to 365. We did it with Instagram, add to carts, purchases, all the way down the line because it's an e-commerce business. In setting up all these different audiences, that's when we were able to create all the lookalikes you see up here. Lookalikes of the pixel, lookalikes of purchases, of different time frames of purchases. And then we have 1 to 2%, 1%, 2%, 2 to 3%, 3%, 3 to 4, and it can go on and on and on and on. The great thing about the audiences below here is it's a lot of retargeting. You could see the different sizes. We're able to test different promotions based upon the size of the audiences. And quite honestly, it also lets us know how much more traffic we need to deliver for the client to then get these pixel datas at the point where we can then create lookalikes to be most effective. Basically, over 1,000 people or more, we get the best possible data we can get. And so you could see, we often use the 180-day purchase pixel because it has 1,500 purchase fires. It gives us a good data set to use, and we can create some really successful lookalikes from there. And so oftentimes we're using the most data we can get. But then when it comes to something like the engagement audiences, we want to have them segmented because sometimes the people in the last 30 days are far more intrigued by what it is we're putting out there versus those who were in the pixel 180 days or 365 days ago. But you want to create this because 1, showcases to your client that you know what you're doing. 2, puts you in the position of being able to retarget effectively and get things in place better than most advertisers can create. And 3, it just sets you up for scale in the future. So make sure you're creating these audiences. We've talked about this quite a bit throughout the course, but if you need a refresher, basically go through the create audience section here and then make sure to create everything you possibly can, from the customer file all the way down to the website, video, Instagram, and Facebook page audiences. When you're doing website, make sure you also do it based on your visitors, your view content, initiate checkout, add to cart, every possible event that you're tracking, and then go from there. Just create every possible custom conversion, pixel event, and standard audience you can, and you should be quite successful in being able to test all sorts of different retargeting and front-end advertising. And that's how you create the audiences for success with your client.